All right, so thanks for joining, everybody. My name is Ravi Brahmbhatt. I will be talking about the APPATHON at HCC. It's a virtual student hackathon project and a program, and I'm glad to be here with the Teaching and Learning Innovation Group at HCC for the ninth annual Faculty Student Engagement and Innovation Award. Sorry, I'm covering my own slide there. But thanks for the opportunity to share some of the lesson learned from this initiative, and just a quick overview of what we'll go over. We definitely want to walk away with the learn some how to build and sponsor an effective virtual hackathon at our college. We also want to encourage creating unique programming with the student in mind, and then walk away with some takeaways about how Appathons, which is the program that we've labeled around app making, how that Appathon solves global problems with local creativity and skill building. So just a little bit about myself here. I do have dual role at HCC. I am a director of student innovation and entrepreneurship at the college, but then for the last 10 years, I've been an adjunct faculty for computer science and business, uh, uh, you know, uh, as a way of contributing at least 20% of my time to education in Houston. I am a Houston Community College alum. I've also taught for University of Houston for the business school and covered international business, and have also taken this director role is now for about 5 years, where we're running a center of entrepreneurship at the Southwest College. So again, I am at the college and I'm quite accessible. I encourage you to come and visit, participate in some of the programs that I'm about to share with you. So thanks for being here. So let's talk about that first learning, right? How do we build and sponsor an effective virtual hackathon at our college? So I know the audience here is faculty members of HCC. So really this is about how can you encourage and engage your students in the classroom and maybe even outside of classroom for taking part in this hackathon. And we run this program at HCC. We've had tremendous success with it. I'll share later in the presentation how we've grown in this space. So hopefully you can encourage your students to join some of the efforts we have in our APPAthons, and also tie it back to your curriculum or your class student learning outcomes. I'm very confident that we can find that connection. Let me quickly share a 30-second promo here of how we kind of get the students to show up. So it's a 30-second, and I think the sound is shared. If Just to make sure, yep, I'm going to share the sound again. And here it goes. It's 30 seconds, and it's basically music, but an idea. So as promised, it was 30 seconds, right? It wasn't too long. I'm sure you saw that in that video promo, we were in person running some of these activities. However, due to the pandemic, we went completely virtual and offered this programming completely online. So I'll share a little bit on how you may be able to run something virtually. And before I do that, let me just quickly take a step back and say, where does this innovation and entrepreneurship office come from? So here, this is the vision board presented about 5 years ago to the vice chancellor of innovation and institutional effectiveness at HCC, and the chancellor, about my role at the college. So I was blessed enough to be able to pitch an idea and get a director position created to support these initiatives. Again, I wear my faculty badge much more pridely than I do the staff role. But again, the staff role does enable us to do a lot of the work that you saw us doing in the classroom, but then taking it out of the classroom and making it available district-wide. So here, the model of our office is really about building awareness and inspiring action. We're getting students who may be disengaged or may not yet know what they're doing in college. We want to capture them, offer them tech experiences, STEM Fest, different events such as Black Girls Code, and just engage them with our programs and get them to build some skills and build some goal settings for them. We offer personalized mentoring to each student and personalized learning to each student through this circle of activities that the center offers. And our goal is that we get enough students prepared that they want to take part in these hackathons and the pitch competitions to validate their ideas based on scientific literacy or based on research, based on doing some logical training. So when students take part in our hackathons and our competitions, that really excites us because we before they even get to the final stage of pitching, we run them through a whole bunch of training sessions on entrepreneurial mindset or innovation thinking, design thinking, lean canvas, a lot of these programs. And if you are looking to incorporate this in your classroom, we offer on-demand YouTube sessions for you to be able to embed into your classroom. We have design thinking workshops offered by Accenture, as well as pitch presentation workshops offered by the foundation. HCC Foundation board chairman has put together the 9 C's of an effective pitch competition, pitch presentation. And we make all this available on YouTube, so you can basically embed the content right into your course. We use basically those trainings to help our students build this sort of entrepreneurial skill set. We ask those students to take part in our student clubs. So we have a student innovation club, a student entrepreneurship club, and also a student manufacturing club, which was tied to making. Our goal there is to support the students with other students of different skills, get them to build some soft skills and team building. And when they feel ready, we also give them access to the startup ecosystem, which includes members like TIE and Shore, Impact Hub, and a lot of the support services offered in Houston, even SCORE, and so on. Ultimately, we want students to just care about something, get them to think about why they care about it, and how can they make or solve problems for things that they care about. Get them to design solutions, so become a solutionist, and instead of just talking about the problem, but then come up with solutions for problems. And then the biggest part for us when we talk about inspiring action is we want them to act on those ideas, act on those solutions, pilot them, test them, put them through a customer validation or customer discovery validation, run them through a process in which they are doing something. And using their hands to make something and come up with something tangible that they could put their arms around and really learn from their own making. We feel that if the students go through this process, this little cycle, that will end up creating student innovators and creators who walk out of college feeling like they can solve any problem. Anything that you throw at them, they'll have a locus of control that they control their destiny. And really, our tagline is, it's your future, you create it, right? So if they are feeling that, they walk out from our program. And we call these students change makers. They will be change makers of the future. Luckily, we have some great student success stories out of the program. The idea for a hackathon for us, it's all about leveraging the gold standard of project-based learning. So we've shared. I mean, I'm sure this has been mentioned across the research, how this plays an important role in engaging and getting students to sustain inquiry, getting students some authentic experiences where they're involved in the conversation and the learning. The students have a voice and they make a decision, and I'll share how some of these plays a role in the hackathon model coming up. We'll also get students to reflect on their thoughts and their ideas by trying to convince other people and going back and reiterating their idea where they're revising, they're getting critique from judges or each other. And our goal again is to get them to make something, right? To get some sort of a product presentation to the public. We feel that our hackathons will help them learn critical thinking, creative thinking, making skills, and ultimately innovation and entrepreneurial skills. Our goal, again, as shared from the vision, is to build a culture that champions collaboration, creativity, and innovation. So let's break that down a little bit and say, how do we do that? So we do that by putting the students at the center of our programs, right? We look at the students that we have access to, and sometimes if we don't have the right student in the program, we go out and invite other students from other institutions. So who says a hackathon at HCC has to be only for students at HCC? Why not engage the students from University of St. Thomas, University of Houston, and why not invite students from University of Manchester in London? I'm proud to say our last hackathon attracted a global audience where majority of our students were HCC students, but they rubbed ideas or shared ideas among students from other countries. So it's very important that we talk about the who that can support. So obviously the educators, is the group in this audience, but also the experts from the industry. We ask that you bring people from the industry into your classroom to talk to these students. It will help not only you share the message, but it will help them be prepared and help them network with experts in the industry. Usually these are the keynotes that you invite. So when I share the model in a little bit, the full model of our hackathon, you'll see how this plays a role. Invite mentors or volunteers. We use volunteers from SCORE, from TIE. These are retired professionals, successful executives who want to work with students. There's a huge demand for students. For mentors wanting to work with students in the community. Provide that support. Use this opportunity to invite dignitaries to listen to the projects that the students are preparing, and then give those judges an opportunity to review, evaluate those projects, and get that critical feedback for that student from these activities. Also, an opportunity for you to invite sponsors. We've been able to raise lots of money, meaning up to $2,000 or $3,000 for cash awards for the students, because they see that this activity is educational, it's engaging, and that the sponsors are coming in because we're helping meet some of their missions at the community college. So I'm going to just share that basically the entire community should be in some capacity invited into the classroom or into this conversation with the student. So I'm going to talk about just how can you convince your students to play a role. When you work in a hackathon, you're building experience, obviously, because we're teaching some of the latest and the greatest things that are coming directly from the industry. But it also gives the students to showcase some of their talents. We have students that sometimes don't have the opportunity to showcase their design talent or their presentation or ability to speak talent or their persuasive pitch. So our goal is to get them to showcase some talent. Maybe they're a great coder and a programmer or a designer. They get to showcase them when they take part in a hackathon. We want them to know that they'll definitely walk away learning some tech or digital skill, that they'll get a chance to collaborate and build a team. They get to network with other individuals. You'll see that we share LinkedIn links throughout the event for all of our speakers, and we tell our students to set one up for themselves and connect with the speakers so they can stay up to date. We also require our speakers to agree to mentor students if any students reach out to them. And ultimately, it's a healthy competition. You'll see how we spend a lot of time celebrating not only those who complete the hackathon, but also those who don't, as a way of celebrating failure. And we encourage failing forward as a concept in the hackathon, and we'd get our students to do the greater good. So what are we talking about now? So let's talk about creating that unique programming with our students in mind. So this is the model for our hackathon that I believe you can replicate in the classroom, or you can encourage students to take part in the hackathons that we're doing, and then offer them maybe a grade or an extra credit and get them to engage in this rapid prototyping, project-based learning program at the college. We start with inspiration in the morning, where students get to hear directly from those industry experts that we engaged. So they're leaders of the industry. So just an example, the executive director of Halliburton Labs spoke at the recent APPATHON around climate action. So again, Scott Gale came, and all of this 160 some students were listening to him, and that made him feel like, wow, there's really people who care about what I have to do or what I do, and it gives them an opportunity to connect with one another. Then we offer instruction. So the instruction comes from groups of faculty at HCC. They're called Apple Fellows. These Apple Fellows are trained by Apple, the headquartered Apple. The products that all of us are using, the iPhones and the iPads, that company trains faculty to be Apple Fellows, and they pay the salary of that individual at the college. So we invite the Apple Fellows to teach Apple App Showcase, and we ask them to put sort of a 90-minute presentation for the App Showcase, teaching the students what we're asking them to do. In this case, we're asking them to put together like a little prototype. I'll share this in a little bit in some of the slides. Then we're giving the students a challenge. We're defining some challenges that we pull directly from the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. There's 17 goals, so which allows us to host 17 different hackathons, and then within each one of those goals, there are individual time-bound goals that says, by 2030, X must happen for this goal, this broader goal to be met. We share that as the challenge. We tell the students, well, that's the goal. Now that you got inspired and you've got some instruction on how to put an app showcase together, go and brainstorm and put that plan, create a prototype so that we can evaluate it together. So students get a chance to then work on the making part for about 4 hours that day. During those 4 hours, we know we have students who will not truly engage. So what we do then is we create breakout sessions with expert panels who talk about design thinking, pitch presentation, innovation thinking, and we bring these expert panels from groups like Accenture, Houston Methodist. The innovation director spoke at the last one, and also pitch presentation. So we offer these expert panels, not so much mandatory, but available for those who want to, not just sit around, but go do something, right? So we tell them, either start working on your projects, go look for teams, go look for people with ideas, and join them. And we do sort of a 30-minute, networking session where students are table hopping, virtually table hopping, or breakout session room hopping to find their teams and find new people and say, hey, what are you thinking about? We also have a platform in which students create a little profile about themselves. And on that profile, they're telling if they want to work solo or if they have an idea already, if they have any skills that they want others to know about, so that people can find, based on the skill that's needed. But we really try to get the teams to be built at the event. However, we're learning that most people kind of build teams outside and then they come in wanting to take part. So we're starting to see more of that happening, but that's fine. It doesn't bother us as long as they're doing something during the making part. They're working on their projects actively. We're okay how that happens. Our goal is for them to learn something if they don't have anything to do. But most of them will be working really hard on working on their projects, but then they'll send one team member to the expert panels and kind of delegate that process where they should know what to do on a pitch presentation, because they're going to have to make a pitch if they're selected as a finalist. If they're not selected as a finalist, we're still going to showcase their projects during our community showcase. So all projects that are made within that 4 hours time frame is now ready to be presented to everyone, including the judges that are coming in, the industry experts who came on earlier. We invite students to bring their other friends who did not participate, invite their parents, invite whoever they want to come and see the community showcase. We live stream this as well, so people can celebrate it on YouTube. And just we go and look at every idea that was submitted, whether they got completed or not. We go through sort of a live public demonstration, and if an idea did not make it, we joke about it and we celebrate that it did not make it, and we talk about why it didn't make it, what components were missing. And sometimes a student will come on board and says, you know what, we just did not gel as a team together. We just couldn't put our act together to be able to submit on time, because that submission is also an effort that needs to be coordinated. And then those ideas that do make it through, we're judging if those ideas have if it met the requirements to be able to present in front of a judge. So again, we are showing the students, we're judging this one, we're not judging this one, why we're not judging this one, right? So they get to learn right there what happened. And again, we celebrate that some ideas did not get selected, and we talk about how they could have changed and how they can take the part again with some changes to make it the next time. We do invite judges, as I mentioned, at this hackathon, because we want to give students an experience of creating a persuasive pitch. We need them to try to persuade the judges that they have met the rubric of the requirement of the project submission requirement, and that they have considered all the things we were asking of them. The judges will go ahead and evaluate them, and then ultimately we would announce the top scoring teams with cash awards. In your case, you can award them grades, or give them extra credit, or whatever you see is a proper incentive for them to submit their to celebrate the top winners. The ones who don't win, they will also need to be celebrated. And what we do there is whatever they created, we give them extra time to go and complete it, and we will highlight all student projects on a public platform like DevPost, which again I'll share at the end. But ultimately, this is the model we're creating, and we're engaging the community, and we're asking the student to be at the center of all this activity, where they're learning directly from this experiential project. So I mentioned a little bit about the Apple Fellows. What we're doing there is we're teaching students brainstorming, planning, prototyping, and evaluating. What we're asking the students to do really is to just create a little map of what their apps would do. And if that is tying back to that UN sustainability goal challenge, and we're asking them to create like a user experience and create little map of their home screen, and how they will use some of the tools that Apple provides, like a camera input, or maybe they want to have buttons and search results. We're telling them, what would your app do? You don't have to code it, you don't have to program it, but just design its user experience, right? And why did you make it this way? How does it help the user? Those are things that they have to convince the judges around. All of these resources are available on appleteacher.apple.com. We're using open source resources that is made available from Apple. We're working on doing something similar for Google, so we could also have an APPATHON for Android devices. And again, we're using all open source resources. So when our Apple fellows come to teach, they're making the entire playbook available to the students, to the group. And in fact, the Apple fellows are charged with training teachers on how to use the Apple Showcase in the classroom. So I wanted to make sure that slide kind of stood out alone, because that is a resource that I highly encourage you to check out. So to wrap kind of the third part of this presentation is about the takeaway, how APPATHON and programs like the APPATHON are helping solve global problems with local creativity and skill building, helping our students skill build. So again, we pull directly from the global goals of sustainable or for sustainable development by the United Nations. There's a full website. If you just search for United Nations global goals, you will find this. And all of these goals, all 17 of these goals, have extensive amount of resources. There are videos you can play to help students build awareness about the issues. So if you don't find an industry speaker like we do, you can just play a video from any of the goals. There's lots of content made available, a lot of curriculum exercises made available on this to help teachers teach this stuff, so we can we can help our students build awareness of issues that are maybe local in nature, maybe injustice and so on, which fall into these goals on a global level. So try to get them to just really engage with any one of these, and then get them to tie that connection that they have the power today to be able to convince people across the country. There's no borders on the internet, so they could, if their idea gets really good, they can pitch it to global audiences and really grow their idea quickly using the app app world. Some tips here is just start with what you can, right? I know this is now something that we're putting together as a department, as a center, but there is a scaled down version of this that you can run. Lots of tips on Google on using a hackathon model. But in the interest of time, I'm just going to leave this slide here, for the recording, pause and read some of them, and make sure that you leverage some of the resources here. And then I'll leave y'all with some of the ideas that students create. And the reason I want to share this, there it is. The reason I want to share this one is because faculty sometimes, or staff at the college sometimes do not believe that our students are amazing, talented, young change makers in progress. They sometimes feel like, oh, this is not for a community college students. I completely disagree. I do believe that our students are very talented if they're given the opportunity to showcase their talents, if they're given the opportunity to and have access to certain groups of people and education, that they could surprise us with some of the most creative solutions out there. And to think that students go and in 4 hours come up with these projects and they build full presentations around it. Some go to even building logos and apps, model, a working prototype of apps. It's just absolutely amazing. If you give students this opportunity, hackathon are very, very engaging. And I'll just share this enrollment slide here of how, because of the pandemic, we introduced APPATHON, the virtual hackathon. We started off with getting about 60 students. We do give college continuing education credit to these students. And because we open it up across borders, we do get non-US residents taking part. You can see that compared to the first one and the third one, we've grown the number of people who show up and take part in this 9-hour event. But the number of people who register is also increasing, and they're watching the live streams. They're not ready to step in yet. They're just watching. But we're creating an experience for them to come and watch. So with that, I want to congratulate you on being here. And here's a slide on resources. Check out hccs.edu/appathon to see the entire playbook that we have that talks about the event and the program guide. Talks about the rules that we give to the students, how we want them to, be kind and helpful to one another. Also see the rubric way on the bottom of that page is the rubric that the students are getting evaluated by the judges and what we're asking the students to make. So all of that information is there on the website. But if you want to see some of this stuff in action, go to youtube.com, search for HCC Innovation Lab or APPATHON, and then go through. We do create video chapters of our 9-hour hackathons. So you're not sitting there for 9 hours watching it. You can just jump directly to that phase of the APPATHon. So when the inspirational part starts off, we have speakers that we bring from the industry. You can just jump directly to the different speakers, and everything is kind of meta tagged with video chapters. So encourage you to do that. And with that, I appreciate all of you. And I wanted to go ahead and say my office is at Houston Community College. We are here to help you. If you would love to reach out to me and talk about how your class could be participating in one of our APPATHONs, or if we can help you design a smaller sort of a macro hackathon in your class, let's talk and let's have these conversations. I absolutely encourage this type of conversation with you. I'll leave you with my email and my cell and my phone number here as a way to get in touch with me. Again, I wear my adjunct faculty badge much more with pride than I do my staff role at the college. So I encourage you to have these conversations with me. And I am a doctoral student looking at entrepreneurial education. So we want to definitely encourage you to engage with us. So maybe over a little time, so I'm going to stop the recording at this time and then open up the floor for any questions I may be able to answer, or we'll touch base when we can, next week or whenever you'll like. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for listening. I hope this was helpful.